Hello and good morning. My name is Brenton. If you are newer to me, welcome to our all levels yoga class this morning, which is called Fantastic Feet. So we are going to be moving our feet and our toes and all of that good stuff today, seeing how they connect up into the legs and seeing that just a little bit more well-developed, nuanced feet, how it impacts everything else up the chain. If you have a yoga block, let's go ahead and grab that to get started. If you don't need one necessarily. Let's go ahead and start down on our backs. And so when you first come down here, just take any amount of time you'd like to really just move around in your body in a way that feels accessible and good to you. Begin to distribute all of your attention into your body like light filling a room. Anything that is grabbing too much attention softens. Anything that was a little bit outside of our attention is now brought in. It's sort of like this opening moment is the time to gather everyone at the company for our all company meeting. You should find here that your breath becomes a little bit more regulated in and out through the nose, nice and deep into your body. And we want to keep that sense of regulation throughout our entire practice today. So to begin with, let's go ahead, find our block, place it. I'm going to place it, actually, I started doing it this way, the middle way, the medium way, up between the thighs there, like anywhere that is accessible for you to get it. And then finding a comfortable position for the feet on the floor, lifting the hips for bridge. So nice, easy, regular breathing. Again, distributing attention in the body like light filling a room. Now this is important because we really want to get our glutes, our big butt muscles on here for us and supporting us through the rest of our movement practice. So let's touch up and down with the hips as an attempt to get those glute muscles firing. So nice, easy breathing. Holding with the pelvis lifted here, let's go ahead and play with pressing down through the front of the feet and lifting the heels up and down. So we'll just do that a few times, really recruiting now the calf muscles, big beefy muscles back there to contract, squeeze, and draw the heels up. And even control how they lower back down to the ground. So they're not falling back down to the floor, but rather they're drawing down in a slow, controlled way, keeping the strength in the calves. Maybe one more. And let's come down. All right, let's do this one more time. And what we just did, if you feel like you could probably handle a little bit more complexity than that, go ahead and remove your block. If you like what we just did and you're like, you know what, that's complex enough for me right now, keep your block. Okay, come on up. And again, finding that the glutes are helping with this position. Your low back feels okay, your chest is moving away from your chin. So the front of your body is all drawing down towards the floor, but it's the back of the body that's lifting up towards the ceiling. Now, we could do what we just did together with the heels, or we could do one at a time. So lifting the right heel and down, lifting the left heel and down. Let's keep going, alternating back and forth between that. Seeing how the movement of the foot impacts all the way up the chain of the leg into the hips. After this last one, let's go ahead and say when your left heel lifts next time, pause. So the heel's lifted. Get a strong sense of grounding through the right foot. Get a strong sense of the leg zipping up into the pelvis, as if your pelvis could be anchored exactly where it is as you maybe lift the left knee off the ground. Taking that left leg back down, marching it back down, both heels down. Let's go ahead and lift the right heel. Get that sense of integration, pressing down through the feet, drawing all the way up into the hips. Could we keep that and lift the right knee up? Marching that right leg back down, left heel lifts. We ask ourselves, could I hold my strong positioning as I lift my left knee over the pelvis? Taking the left foot down, lifting the right heel. Could I keep this strong positioning as I bring the right knee up? Here we go. Taking that leg down, hips down. We did it. So hopefully feeling a little bit more activated, alive in the lower body regions. Let's go ahead and move our focus up to our middle body in the torso. So again, let's go ahead and take that block between the thighs, if that was okay with you. And we'll take the legs up. So they do not have to be straight here. Just find a position where your back feels okay, especially your low back. That's going to have a lot to do with how your pelvis is positioned here. Remember, I have a neutral pelvis class just a couple of weeks back, so you can always go back to that if you really want to figure out what that means for you. Let's interlock the hands behind the head, elbows wrapped in. Ground down with your abdomen as you lift your head up off the ground, but your head is soft into the hands. So you're up off the shoulder blades, the neck is nice and soft, and we're just focusing on survival for the first one. So we're breathing nice and regular. Our facial muscles are soft. We're getting as high off the shoulder blades as we can while remaining calm, soft in the head and the neck and the shoulders. And as you're ready, come all the way back down. So see how important it is to keep regulated throughout our practice. So that's why we start there. So we sort of set the stage, so to speak. Let's go ahead, come up off the shoulder blades again. Okay, now while we're here, head soft into the hands, flex deeply the right foot. So you're pulling the toes down towards the face with the heel pressing up. At the same time, point the left toes. So the legs are doing opposite things. And really get a sense from like the sole of that left foot curling in, lifting up off the shoulder blades. Go ahead, return the feet to a soft position and release. Set your legs. Let's come up off the shoulder blades again. Okay, this time, flex deeply through the left foot. So heel pushes up, toes pull down, and point through the right foot. Really curling it in. If you get a little cramp through the foot, it's just the brain activating something it hasn't activated before or often. Returning the feet to soft position. Release and relax. So we'll add some complexity onto this if you can manage that. Legs up off the shoulder blades. Here we go. Flex the right foot, pull the toes down, point the left toes, lift up off the shoulder blades, and turn the chest to the left a couple of inches. Go ahead, come back with the chest, release the feet to the opposite way, flex through the left foot, point the right toes, lift up, turn a couple of inches to the right with the chest. Coming back through center, release the feet, release the head. As you feel ready, coming up. Head soft into the hands. We're gonna flex the left foot, point the right toes. Lift up, we're gonna turn to the left first this time. Coming back through center here, switch the feet, flex the right foot, point the left toes, lift and turn over to the right. Coming back through center, release the feet and release the head. Whew, we're getting there, right, you guys? Let's go ahead and do this one more time. Come up off the shoulder blades. Head soft into the hands here. Flex the right foot, point the left toes. This time turn to the left first. Come back through center. Switch the feet. Turn to the right. Try to turn from the ribs, not from the shoulders. Come back through center. Release the feet. Release down. Woo! It's our last set, you guys. We're doing it. Come up. Let's flex through the left foot, point the right toes, turn over to the right. Come back through center, switch the feet, turn over to the left. Coming back through center, release the feet, release everything down. Congratulations. We can graduate up. Get a little bit of water. And where we'll come after this will be a tabletop position. So breathing, moving around in any way that feels good to you. Now we want to get our upper body, chest, shoulders, and back more online and activated as well. So we'll come down to the forearms, elbows underneath the shoulders. You decide if your hands are wide or clasped. With the neck relaxed, we'll tuck off the knees. So first things first, feel like your torso is shifting up over your shoulders and that you're really pushing through everything you got in that front body. Get a lot of space between your pelvis and your head. And you use your legs to help move your pelvis away from your head. Now from here we see, can I lift and come onto the top of the left foot? So a little stretch there. Keep the toes pointing straight back. And then taking that left foot down, flipping on top of the right foot, put toes straight back. Even an active energy up through the legs into the pelvis. Taking that down one more time on the left and on the right. As we feel ready from here, coming down to the knees, up to the palms, and walking back to our first standing forward bend. So we're up on our feet here. Your feet can be wider. If the floor seems far away, perch yourself up on your legs or up on an ottoman or something. And just take this free time here to move or be still. Whatever makes your heart content. If you're okay to round up, grounding through the feet, slowly coming all the way up to stand here at the back of the mat. Finding ourselves, you just find a foot position here where you can feel strong and active. Start by maybe rocking forward and backward a bit. And you'll start to see, like, how do I normally weight bear my feet? Does it feel really normal to be in my heels or in the front of my feet? Could I evenly distribute the weight down through? You can feel there's a triangle of the foot. So evenly distribute that weight, but then everything is pulling back up through the inner and outer ankle, up through the inner and outer knee, up into the pelvis. So you get that sense of a push and a pull here, kind of like last week with our wrist party where we learned pushing and pulling with the hands. So from here, finding your pelvis back over your legs, your ribs back over your pelvis, and your head back over your ribs. And then holding all of those points like that as you reach the arms wide and high through the sideline of the body, growing up, up, up vertically, and then releasing them down. And just practicing this a few times. 1, to get the shoulders moving without the ribs or the spine moving. And 2, to get a sense of elongation through the entire body. As we feel ready from here, hands down at the pelvis. We're going to take them here. We don't want to tip the pelvis forward like I'm doing right now. We want to keep that bad boy position in. And we'll lift up and down, little heel bops. So again, try to get that sense of the spine nice and elongated. I don't know if in these online classes yet I've introduced the concept of the broomstick spine, but imagine you have a broomstick behind you. This point is touching the broomstick. Your back ribs where your shoulder blades are touching the broomstick, and your head touches the broomstick. Go a little bit faster if you can, really getting these legs fired up this morning. And then from here, feet down, we're gonna walk forward with one foot as if on a tightrope. Just sort of washing ourselves forward and backwards, sort of like a wave. And as we do this, we just see how our feet feel transferring load from one to the other. And can we transfer load from one to the other without dropping attention from the body? So the attention still fills the body like light filling a room. Can we see if we can go a couple of heel bops here and then step the left foot forward? So same thing, just testing out the waters today. Couple of heel bops here. Walking forward with the right foot. Couple of heel bops, maybe 3 or 4. Walking forward with the left foot. And bringing both feet forward to the top of the mat here. Here we go, we'll reach wide and high with the arms here. We'll see if we can come up for a sustained heel bop, pulling the heels towards the bottom, coming onto tippy toes. Now, can you get that sense for the broomstick? My low back, my ribs, my head, taking the hands now down to the pelvis here. I want to keep all those points of my spine on the broomstick as best I can as I hinge forward any amount at the pelvis. And I just kind of see there, what will my body give me? What will she give me today? It's okay. When we're ready, with control, lower the heels down. See if that changes the amount of hip flexion you can do here while keeping your spine on that broomstick. Making the chest nice and open, the head pulling way forward. So we're only coming down as far as we can still keep all of those points of our spine on that imaginary broomstick. If we're not there, it's not going to feel so good, but if we're there, it should feel okay to take the arms forward. And from there, practicing by stretching them out wide to the side. As we feel ready, taking the hands down to the floor even. Let's go ahead, move her back to our first downward facing dog. So rooting and pushing down through the hands here. You can walk out through the feet a little bit. You just find a comfortable position for the feet on the mat. Heels do not need to be touching the floor. Knees can be bent in service of getting the pelvis away from the head. And then feel like the skin on the top of your feet actually wants to lift up and kiss your shin bone. Let's go ahead and from here, shift the position forward towards plank, top of a push-up. And in this plank top of a push-up, feel the ribs lift up into the shoulders. Rock forward and backward on the feet a little bit. From here, dropping down to the knees, but keep the toes tucked under, so you still get a little bit of openness through the sole of the foot there. Come back to that concept of your spine on the broomstick. Keep those points touching your broomstick as you bend the elbows and control all the way down. When you get down here, releasing the tops of the feet with the toes pointing straight back, not sickling in or out. So you get a sense of integrity through the ankle. Turn on your glutes so that your low back feels spacious, nothing's pinched or tense back there. And then from here, lift one leg up, stretch, and pull it back as if someone was sort of pulling on you a little bit, just lightly, but your pelvis is still centered between the legs and armpits. Taking that leg down, your other leg up. Just getting a sense of that whole leg connected from the foot. We'll go back and forth a couple of times. That foot connected all the way into the hip. Getting a sense of that pointed toe experience. After this last one, let's go ahead, take the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under from here without spilling the low back into the floor. So we still pull the front of the pelvis up, the front of the ribs up. We see here pushing up to the knees, pulling back towards downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, get a sense of that skin on the top of your foot lifting up towards the shin. And then we'll push off the hands,
to walk towards the feet. But we'll bend the knees and squat low here. And then we'll go ahead and take the hands forward and shift the knees down with toes tucked under here. So we're sort of in like a little tabletop position, but what we'll do is we'll push off the knees and take the knees wide as we reach the heels toward the ground back here. Maybe they don't get all the way back. And then we reach forward and come forward. So we're just stretching. You just go where you can go for the feet. And it's good to shift, all the way back because then the feet are loaded, but all the way forward to unload the feet, then load the feet by pushing. Coming all the way back here, come up with the hips where you're in your standing forward fold back there. Head nice and soft and relaxed. Let's ground down through the feet. Can we roll the spine all the way up? Will that work for you? At the back of the mat here, we raise the arms all the way up and down. Coming back to our heel bops. And again, you can pick up the pace. You might also say like, whoa, I can maybe hop a little. Hopping really good for the feet. Feet should be like springs. Okay, let's go ahead, march forward from here. So I'm keeping those points in my spine on the broomstick as I march my right leg up, forward, marching the left leg up. Keep a little activity through that foot, forward, stand on it, marching up, keep going. Just trying to move at this hip, nothing else. Both sides, we do about the same there. Here we go, feet down. Inhale, we reach the arms all the way up. Let's go ahead, come all the way up onto the tippy toes, a sustained heel bop here, reaching the hands down by the pelvis. Get a sense for your spine on the broomstick as you hinge forward any amount with your heels, attempting to lift. Even if they don't get off the floor, it's just the attempt that matters. And once you get kind of hit your max there, lower your heels back down, feel your legs activate all the way up, and then see all those points of your spine on the broomstick. Find your hip hinge. You might be much higher than me, and that's okay as long as you're on that broomstick. If you have a broomstick at your house, go get one. Pause the video, see where you are. And then arms down in front of us. Let's get that nice little sense of chest open as the arms go wide. And then hands down. Let's go ahead, take the hands down, move it back towards plank. Shoulders over the wrists, ribs lifting up into the shoulder blades. As we feel ready from here, let's go ahead, bend the knees, take the knees down, bend the elbows, slowly lower with control all the way down. Tops of the feet down with the toes pointing straight back. As you slide your hands just under your elbows, we do a couple of baby cobra lifts. So lifting up using your back muscles, coming down, just going on your own. You got sense that the spine is connected from the tailbone all the way out through the crown. If you get into a spot or a patch where the low back feels like it's being pinched, do less range of motion, commit more to your strength. Your strength is always trying to pull into the position, to use muscles close to bones, to move bones. What we'll do from here, we'll keep the tops of the feet down. We'll press up to table. So walking the knees probably a little bit more forward. The toes are still pointed back, but they're straight. And then from here we can see, can I load those feet anymore? Lifting the knees up and down. Lift up and hold. Lift the pelvis higher, come down a little bit, but not all the way. Higher, come down a little bit, but not all the way. Higher, this time roll over the feet one at a time. Downward facing dog. Okay, so from here we'll see if we can get a little hopping action from the feet. If you don't want to hop today, that's okay. You just practice with coming up onto your tippy toes and then bending into the knees and pushing. So however you want to do it today, I haven't gotten that thing from my carpet yet, so I'm slipping and sliding. I'm not a very good example. No matter where you are, let's go ahead, meet with the feet forward so you can walk or hop them all the way up there. From there, grounding down through the feet, let's see if we could find our halfway lift from here. However high you need to come up to get that sense of all those spots on the broomstick, taking the arms down in front, widening the reach, chest nice and open. Could I swing the arms back to the pelvis and then upright myself? Inhale, taking the arms all the way up, taking the hands down in front of the chest. Just gonna put my hair back for a second, and then we'll keep moving. We'll start by reaching the arms wide and high, and then hinging forward over the hips. Getting a sense here, bending into the knees, stepping the left foot back, knee down and top of foot down, again the toes pointing straight back, coming up to a half kneel or a low lunge. So I want to get as much up over the back leg as possible and still feeling all of those points in my spine on the broomstick. Now I really want to feel that sense of connection through that right foot. I'm just going to start with hands down here, maybe flying back like a cape, a little sense of opening through the chest as I root through the right foot and kind of drag the heel back towards the body. Seeing if I can keep that sense of activation through the legs as the arms travel skyward, and then keeping a sense of activation through that foot as I lean forward, lift off the back knee, load the front foot, and bring the foot underneath. From here, let's go ahead, come to our halfway lift, wherever that might be for us, arms in front, chest open, head long, reaching the arms wide, swimming them back, standing up. Inhale, reaching the arms all the way up. We're gonna come down for chair. So you set your feet however you like. I like to always start with a bounce, get my legs used to what I'm asking them to do, while at the same time steadying the low back. So the low back's at its natural baby back bend curve, but everything on the front of the body still supports all of that, right? So coming down here, I just want this movement to come from my legs, not into the pelvis or the upper body at all. As I lift the left heel and down, lift the right heel and down, and just sort of walk out my chair pose a little bit. This little heel lifts, really activating not just through the feet, but you can feel all the way up the chain into the pelvis. As we feel ready, shifting forward over the legs, forward fold, release that. Let's go ahead, step the right foot on back, knee down, top of foot down. Take your time to upright yourself for your half kneel, low lunge on this side. So you get yourself right up over that back knee. And I always like to start down here with the arms at first, just to get that sense, because this is often a very confusing position for my body to land in. So it takes a little bit of time to actually be able to send attention to the body like light filling a room. And that front foot, nice and active into the floor, really activating back towards the body. That's what gives me the lift and the confidence through the torso to maybe eventually take the arms up. As we feel ready, shifting forward all the way here, let's go ahead, step the left foot back, so we're in plank pose here. Let's see if we can do a little plank pose fun. So shoulders, nice and active, neck feels good. Could I free my left foot, top of the foot down for pointed plank? Could I free the top of my right foot down for pointed plank? Maybe the answer is no. Flipping the left foot, the right foot, doing it the other way, starting with the right foot, the left foot, again, right foot, left foot. See if I could do that one more time on each side. And again, maybe the answer is no. Maybe the answer is you just do one at a time, or you hold your plank and you work on an attempt. Knees down, shoulders over the wrists. Here we go, bend the elbows, control your way all the way to the floor. Once we come down here, Let's go ahead, release the shoulders and the neck. So tent the fingers nice and wide, but start by turning the chin from the left to the right, tracing the collarbones. As you do that, hopefully, if you have weirdness in your neck, you're sort of addressing that. Keeping the shoulders, the elbows lifted, push root and roll up like a little snake through the front and down. Choose a range of motion that works for you. As we feel ready, we'll go ahead, take the hands underneath the shoulders, tuck the toes under for a little toe stretch. Push up to the knees, off the knees, up and back, downward facing dog. That's that sense of strength through the arms into the chest here. You have an opportunity to either lift up and down again, preparing as if you were going to go for the hop, or a couple more hops here. So it's really whatever you like to do. And those hops, you could try to land back and downward facing, or you could try to, land with your feet forward. Just kind of depends on what you're in the mood for. We'll all go ahead and meet with the feet up at the front of the mat. Grounding down through there. We'll come up to our halfway lift, wherever that is for each one of us. We'll test it by taking the arms forward, because this should feel okay. If it doesn't feel okay, something's up. Taking the arms wide, swimming the arms back by the hips, grounding feet, standing upright. Inhale, reaching the arms wide and high, and taking the arms down. Let's go ahead, inhale, bring the arms all the way back up, and on the exhale, hands come down. We'll forward fold, we'll step the left foot back, this time with the toes tucked under, so a different experience of this lunge. So we get ourselves worked up, the same principle of that front foot sort of dragging back there for us, reaching the arms. As you feel ready, with control, take the arms forward, load the front foot, bring the back foot in. Let's go ahead, come on up to chair. And we'll walk out the chair again, right? So heel lifts. This time you can add on the next time the left heel lifts. Maybe you push down through the right foot and draw the left leg up to a one-legged stand. And then the left foot comes down. We go back to chair. As the right heel goes up, the left foot presses down to lift the body. So you decide how you want to flow today. Doing a couple more. After you feel good about that, both feet down, sense how your legs feel, how your low back feels. As you breathe in, reach the arms wide and high. And then coming all the way forward over the legs. From here, bringing the right foot back, knee down, top of foot, or toes tucked under. That's a better way of saying it. And then just finding the position here. Taking your time. As you feel ready, taking the hands all the way forward, bringing the back foot in, reaching all the way up to the sky, and then bending the knees, coming all the way down to the floor. You decide if you could maybe try to hop your feet back to plank or to down dog. Down dog will be easier to land in probably. So if you want to try, for plank, you ground your hands, shoulders stay over the wrists. For down dog, of course, your shoulders will push back. But here we go, we bend into the knees, hopping the feet back, seeing if we can eventually find our way to plank pose here. And then however you like to come all the way down to the floor. All the way down to the floor, sliding the hands back, a little baby cobra action there, chest nice and open, toes pointed. We see, can I activate the tops of the feet down there, spread the toenails open away from each other, clip all of the toenails down, even the pinky. Pressing down, we see, can I push down, coming up to a little bit higher cobra, pulling the abdomen up for pointed plank, pulling the pelvis up, rolling over the feet, down dog. Let's go ahead, push off the hands one at a time to walk all the way back to the feet at the back of the mat. Grounding here. Let's go ahead and come all the way up to stand your favorite way, reaching the arms wide and high all the way up, taking the hands down. Okay, let's go ahead, do another round of heel bops. Pick up the pace if you can hop. Okay, we're gonna keep marching forward. So we're gonna march forward, bringing the right leg up. All my points of the spine are on the broomstick. I'm gonna flex through the right foot, and without trying to get my leg straight, I'm just gonna send the heel away from me. Flossing out through the underside. Keeping myself nice and lifted. I'm not leaning back. This is not what I'm doing. I'm also not doing this, right? So I'm very specific here. As the leg goes out, point the toes and scoop the leg back. Let's try one more time. Flex the foot, drive the heel forward, point the toes, scoop the leg back. Setting the right foot down on the ground, drawing the left leg up in front, getting ourselves nice and steady here. Flex through the left foot, press the heel forward, point the toes, scoop the leg back. Flex the foot, take the heel forward, point the toes, scoop the leg back. Foot release, down to the ground, right leg goes up. Flex the foot, drive the heel forward, point the toes, scoop back. So we got it, right? Let's do one more. Releasing the foot all the way down, left leg up, flexing the foot, heel forward, pointing the toes, scooping back. And then from here, what we'll do is we'll step this left foot to the back of the mat here. We're gonna turn open to a side lunge. So we're gonna bend into that left leg towards the back of the mat. As we bend, let's just pulse here a couple of times, paying some good attention to the inseam of the legs so they start to open up. Notice if you're sort of falling in like this on this foot over here, try to get the whole foot down where the ankle bones, the inner and outer ankle bone, are level with each other in space. We're gonna make this a little bit more dynamic and get the feet to change directions. So we're gonna push off this left foot and come forward. So this is where the center point is gonna be here. So here we are, we're nice and standing. This time we're gonna step the right foot back over to the right, bend into it. Since it's our first time here, we'll give it a little pulse. And then we're gonna push, step forward. So here we go, we'll go at our own pace. Stepping the left foot back, coming over, pushing forward to the front, taking the right foot back, pushing forward. Let's go about 4 times on each side. And all the work from all our other classes, our spine classes, our rib classes, our pelvis classes, that all pays massive dividends here. Okay. The next time you step open with the left foot, come to horse. So heels in, toes out, pelvis upright. All those points of our spine are still on our broomstick, and we bounce. Ooh! Ollie just barely missed the blackout, so can still hear me here. We're bouncing, we're bouncing. And in the bouncing, come down. We'll see if we can go both heels together, up and down. Just 3 times. And then we're gonna turn to the back. So now we're in high lunge on the left. This is sort of our first time being here in high lunge, right? So I just wanna get my pelvis centered between my legs. I'm gonna even cruise forward and backward, loading the foot differently through a range. Okay. Coming all the way down into that. I'm way high on the toe mound of that back foot, So the back heel nice and lifted, just even here, great for the foot. Now I see what I need to do to get a little bit more push off the back foot, because I'm going to push and draw the right leg forward in front of the body, where again I have that sense of being on my broomstick here as I hinge forward over that front leg. From there, maybe I stretch the right leg back. You do not need to be this bent over. You could be, much higher. And then from here, the question is, could I flex my foot, so toes down, heel back, and then point the toes? So moving back there, flex and extend, flex and extend. The next time you flex like you're standing on the floor, you're actually going to step the left foot back, but you're going to take the hands down and step, sorry, that was the right foot back, and step the left foot up to one-legged dog. It's not super high here. It's about as high as the floor, so that you can really get the pelvis evenly set between your armpits, and that'll help it position evenly between the legs. Let's go here. Move through those foot movements here, that flex, extend. When you're pointing the toes, really pay attention to the lining on the front of the leg. As you press the heel back and flex the toes down to the body, you get the back. Let's point the toes, bend the knee, bring it into the abdomen without changing the pelvis. Flex the foot, shift the shoulders forward, take the left foot down to the floor here. We're going to bring that right leg back up for warrior 3. So here we are here. Could I point and flex the foot a few more times? Flexing the foot, stepping it back, grounding the hands, taking the left leg up, one-legged dog, flexing and pointing. For some reason, the movements of the ankle are both called flexion. Dorsiflexion, plantar flexion. So point the left toes, bend the knee into the belly, flex the foot, draw the foot down, load it, come up with the right leg, warrior 3. From here, we'll bring ourselves all the way up to stand with the right leg in front, holding the balance, taking the right foot down by the left. Whew! As we breathe in, reaching the arms all the way up, taking the hands down. So hopefully you got enough of that you're starting to feel some good things happening. Again, always modify, customize for what makes sense to you. This time, let's first step back with the right foot. We're going right to side lunge, stepping forward, over with the left foot, stepping forward. We're just going back and foot again, giving our feet time to change direction. Next time the right foot steps over, here we are, we're in high lunge. Nope, horse. Heels in, toes out, a little bobby situation here, right? We're here, we just go up and down, up and down. Let's keep going here. So let's turn the left toes back to the back of the mat, turn the right toes toward the long side of the mat, so you're more towards warrior 2 in the legs. But in warrior 2, lift your left heel off the ground. So we just see here, how does that feel? Maybe stretching wide through the arms, whatever feels right there. As you feel ready, taking the heel down, we're going to straighten the leg, but as we do that, we're going to lift the left toes off the ground and reach the arms up. So here we go. Down, heel lifts, up, toes lift. One more time. As we feel ready, coming down, setting back through center here. Let's go right to the other side so we can feel it on both sides. Turning to warrior 2 to the right, right toes forward, left toes toward the long edge of the mat. We want to make sure that the knees feel well positioned, my pelvis feels well positioned. I'm still on my broomstick as best as I can. As I then lift the right heel up, hold the pose, feel it, feel all the activation like a stocking, drop the leg, then pressing down through the heel, lifting the toes, coming up. Here we go. Heel up, heel down, toes up. As we feel ready, here we go. We're gonna turn to face the front. So now we're in high lunge on the right. So should feel pretty familiar. And just seeing if we can, shift forward and back, play around with how we're loading those feet. Hopefully the feet much more alive, used to working for us, pushing, pulling, all of that good stuff. So this lunge is feeling pretty strong for me right now. As we feel ready, we'll hinge forward and lift the back leg. Actually, I don't think that's how we entered it, right? So let's bring the left leg up in front of us, where first we try to find ourselves on the broomstick, and then maintaining those points of contact on the broomstick, hinging forward over that front leg, and then maybe extending the left leg out. Playing around with pointing, flexing through the foot. And then the next time you flex, step the left foot down, hands down to the ground, reach the right leg up, about parallel with the floor, one-legged dog, flex and extend. When you point, keep the toes pointed. As you bend the knee, you pull the knee into the belly, flex the foot, shift forward, take the right foot down wherever you can get it, and then see if I could come back up to warrior three. You can enter this from any position. So take your time, even pause the video, flexing and extending through the foot. Flexing, taking that foot down, grounding the hands, stepping the right foot up, one-legged dog, here we are. Last time. Point through the foot, bend the knee in to the abdomen, flex through the foot, shift forward, right foot forward. See, can I bring the left leg up, the hands up? Can I toggle all the way up to a one-legged standing position and down? Oh my gosh, how does that feel, you guys? Go ahead, take the arms wide and high all the way up. And then as we feel ready, bend the knees, release. Let's go ahead, step back to table with the toes tucked under. We can just see, could I walk myself back and sit on my feet? Maybe the answer is yes, maybe it's no. If the answer is no, you stay less loaded in the front. Now, sometimes the pinky toe likes to try to pretend like it's not part of this, so I like to pull the pinky into that formation. Get that nice sense. Now that we've been using our feet, they're pretty warm. They can probably endure a little bit more than, when we just use this as a warm-up. This is a great warm-up, but it's also a great active cool down. You can just sort of move around in your neck, take any kind of stretches that feel good, that make sense. As we feel ready, let's go ahead, come all the way down onto our backs. Where we can release the right foot to the ground, draw the left leg into the belly. But again, we want to evenly set the pelvis between the armpits, between the legs, right? So do your very best to do that. I'm going to actually interlock the hand behind the left leg, freeing the foot, where again, we're just pointing and flexing. And then the next time that you dorsiflex, where the toes are pulling down toward the shin, I'm going to hold my shin bones in place so they don't move as I roll through the ankle. And you might cramp here. It's very likely, in fact, if you are newer to this sort of movement, but What you're trying to do is distribute the movement into the ankle and the foot as much as you can. So really trying to hold the shin bones still, going both directions. This one was like the first time I did it, I was so surprised at how many sensations are there. But this is a really great one because there's a lot of tissue in the feet that draws up into the leg, and so we want to condition all those relationships. Okay, let's go ahead. Release that foot down. Whew, that's a foot. Holy moly. Draw the right leg up and kind of same thing. You can just move on your own. So other really therapeutic things you can do for your feet would be, roll them around on some tennis balls or even some harder, smaller balls if you have those, depending on what you can tolerate. We bought a bunch of dowels from the grocery store so that we can, not grocery store, that's funny, hardware store. Do your circles too. And the dowels, we practice our spines on the broomstick. Those are our broomsticks. But then you could also have the dowels on the floor and you can walk over them to challenge balance and just proprioception and just turn the feet online. So the dowels are another really, really great tool to work with the feet. The other thing is the toes. And we haven't done so much with the toes today because you only have so much time to do things. But I have something on my Instagram about toe movements earlier this week. So I encourage you to check that out. But for the toes, you can buy spacers for them on Amazon just to get them a little bit of room. You can also just anything where you can space your toes out, move your toes, all of that good stuff. Let's go ahead and find a position to rest in today. So whether you throw your legs up on an ottoman, that can actually feel really nice for the feet as well. Taking the feet on the ground since I don't have an ottoman around me. Laying with the legs out, whatever you like. See if you can really take a couple of moments to really do get comfortable as you can get. Comfortable enough that you don't feel like you have to be holding on in any areas. Maybe the eyes effortlessly close and you can start to draw your attention sort of out of your sense perceptions. So anything you're feeling, anything you're hearing, just getting a sense that you are bigger, unbothered. Let's maybe let our feet be the first things that we start moving again. So what if you could just send like a ripple of movement from your pinky toe to your big toe? And then what if you could send a ripple of movement from your big toe to your pinky toe? And just play around with little ripples of movement from one side of the toes to the other. And even building that movement into some different movements, bigger movements, movements of the actual sole of the foot. We have 26 bones in our feet, 33 joints. So that means the foot can do a lot of movement. So here, just seeing, could I curl? Could I stretch? Could I roll around in the ankle?
And then waking up and moving in any other way that feels good to you. We can go ahead and meet in a comfortable seated position where I've really been enjoying just spending a couple of minutes after practice in a little bit of a silent sitting. You might call this even like a meditation, where the point is really for us to distribute attention through our body like light filling a room, to breathe regular, easy, full, for what our bodies need, for what our tissues need. And then beyond that, the benefit is just pausing the momentum of our thinking automatically turning into behavior. And that pause and momentum is honestly all we need to start on the path of behavior optimization, which I really think is why we're drawn to this. Like, yes, we are drawn to the optimization of movement in our bodies, but that is not different and not separate from the optimization of our behavior, how we express ourselves, how we participate in our friendships, at our job, with people we don't get along with people who make us feel scared or less than or nervous. So the screen just went black again. I know that, but I don't actually know how to turn it back on. But that's okay, because the blackness, you don't need to see anything right now. Is Ollie gonna fix the blackness? Okay, my friends, thank you so much for joining in today's practice. I really hope your feet feel fantastic after this, and hopefully you can get a sense of how it connects all the way up the chain. So just to give you the announcements for this week, next week, same time, same place. What are we doing next week? Oh, next week's practice is going to be called Steady. So we're moving sort of out of the isolated body parts and into different characteristics or aspects of the practice. And especially as we get more towards Thanksgiving, I want to offer us some things that have clear, this thing, what word you would say for this, that has cleared this into the rest of our lives. So next week's class is going to be called Steady. I'm going to be sharing steadiness exercises on my Instagram every day this week. So definitely follow me there if you're not already. And other places you can find me online is definitely my website. That's my one-stop shop for all of my yoga classes. It has filters, different libraries, so hopefully it's easy for you to find what you're looking for there. I also have tons of blog posts on yoga, movement, lifestyle, just optimizing how we move through the world in all ways. That's what I'm really passionate about. I also send out a newsletter every Sunday, and that's where you can get reminders for these live streams. You can just get these links sent right to your inbox. So make sure that you're signed up for that. If you're not already, you can do that on my website. And finally, if you feel inclined to donate to this work, I will leave a donation link in the description below. It'll send you right over to our website, where you can make us a one-time donation or join us on Patreon for any amount of your choosing on a monthly basis. So that's all I have for you today. If you have questions for me, leave them in the YouTube comments or elsewhere on social media, and I'll try to loop them into whatever we do next Saturday. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.